Welcome to this earthly comedy. Seeing a lively guy go down like that, and then this Carter brainwashing him, really makes you question life. They were all riding your neck, and you were still enduring. Old White's heart is stinging like he's been sliced and iced. Who knew it would awaken his supervillain mode? Back home, Old White proudly shows his wife his repairman work, but if the washer could speak, it'd ask, "Can you spin me?" Except the drum, everything works fine, but after cutting power, he wrecked the washer pure melodrama. His wife snapped, calling him a loser, and that snapped Old White right into his evil self. Do you get me? This is me, an innocent sheep, finally pushed to the edge by my wife not giving me a thumbs up. Old White grits his teeth, feeling like he finally crossed the moral line, taking out his bad mom like a hero. Even though it's his first time doing something like this, he's totally lost, but then he thinks of calling his big boss Carter. Help. I've got a little issue. Of course, his real plan is to pin the blame on Carter, pretending to be the innocent avenger for his wife. Who knew being honest means you are scared of yourself when you get serious? Before long, the doorbell rings, but it's not Carter, it's the sheriff, here to investigate the Sam incident. The sheriff hears there's been some small friction, but he's just here to dot the I's and cross the T's, and Old White's cowardly ways are about to be uncovered. To make matters worse, the sheriff finds blood on the floor, controls Old White, and walks into the basement. And lo and behold, it's Old White's wife. He had just called for backup when Carter swoops in like a secret agent and deals with the sheriff. What a plot twist in his life. Eyeing the corner's big weapon, Old White tensed, planning to act when sirens wailed outside, forcing his ally underground. Carter fled long ago, leaving him trapped like a fish in a barrel. He had to use his spin move, pretending to be the victim. And with that, Old White temporarily dodged a bullet, but at the town's entrance, a speeding car caught the officer's eye. The officer catches up and rolls down the window, and guess who's inside? Carter, the very guy who took out the sheriff. Subtitles. The police officer instructs him to get out of the car for an inspection, but Carter, acting as if he were the boss, continues to talk eloquently. The officer thinks to himself in secret, this guy is definitely no ordinary person. He instinctively feels it's not worth the risk, and eventually, with a nod of approval, Carter zooms away. Meanwhile, Old White attends his wife's funeral and stays at his brother's, acting like a distracted actor. Hearing his brother mention the cops turned their house upside down, Old White's heart races. That murder weapon is still in his house. Taking the opportunity to sneak home, after tampering with some evidence, he clutches his wife's clothing and cries, yet not a single tear falls. It seems acting is just not for him. Just then, 2 officers suddenly arrive due to a string of recent accidents in town, all involving Old White's friends. The female officer suspects him in the case, and Old White is left in shock because her deduction mirrors the scene perfectly. Fortunately, an older officer comes to his rescue, claiming they were classmates. He believes someone so honest can't possibly be a killer. The veteran cop even thinks it's a waste of time here, better go home to the wife and kids. However, the female officer isn't giving up. Later that night, Old White steps out to buy medicine, only to find her stalking him again, asking the same questions over and over. Old White, feeling like his heart is in a vice, can't say much and hurries off after buying the pills. The next day, barely at work, his boss sends him to handle Sam's death compensation, truly the jack of all trades. When he sees it's the insurance folks, Sam's wife is bubbly as if welcoming a birthday boy, completely innocent, looks like all she cares about is the... Meanwhile, the 2 little goofballs outside witness everything, with the brother accidentally shooting his sibling in the butt. What a comic relief. They pause to contemplate, and little do they know, 2 mobsters are secretly watching their every move. Turns out Sam was part of the mafia, and these 2 are here for revenge. Seeing Old White getting cozy with Sam's wife has sealed the deal in their minds. This day, Sam's wife strolls leisurely down the street, and the next second, the mob yanks Old White onto an ice surface where the boss demands he take the fall for everything. Old White refuses to admit he's the killer of Sam, is someone else, but the boss keeps pressing, and tension is rising like a balloon. Old White pulls out a taser for a counterattack, but meanwhile, the other goon is yapping away, completely oblivious to what's happening. Bolts down the road, just so happens to spot an officer patrolling. It's like a fly walking into a spider's web. Noticing the officer's reluctance, Old White delivers a punch, and to his surprise, he unexpectedly secures a ride home. What a swift turn of events. He's unaware that the Dragon and Tiger brothers saw it all. Cut to Old White, calm in his cell. Thinking he's safe, old White's too no. It isn't long before two new friends enter his life. This pair fought in a bar and were sent here. Old White's resigned to his fate. Resigned, he gives up the struggle, but feels like he's on fire as the action hits a real-life drama unfolding before him. He slips off his shoes, the peppery smell fills the cell. Then, off come his drenched socks, sparking protests all around. Subtitles: Tiger Bro violently grabs Old White's thigh like a heroic figure. This scent is far more satisfying than any dish, and Old White immediately gives up Carter. Just then, a god opens the cell. Somebody's paid the dragon and Tiger Bro's bail. Old White finally gets a breather. Old White finally catches a break, but that foot stink comes rushing back in like a tidal wave. What a sight to behold. Not far away, Lullaby's close, and good brother Carter's picking up a package at the express station, as if saying, "I've got a call to send to you. If I don't reach out, am I just meant to go home and find myself?" Yes, this time in bringing back a leg and a plate of roast meat. Listen, it's odd. Under Carter's cold stare, the old man quickly grabs the package. Rules matter, but flexibility counts sometimes.